Everyone. It's Thursday. It is the third day of the Unmute Yourself Challenge series. And I do have to admit, I'm feeling very off today. I was just reading a bunch of news about the Atlanta attack in the Asian American and Pacific Islander community. And, I'm not, I'm sad, but I'm not surprised. And news like this is still jarring to this day. So, um, I'm going to still talk about my content today, talk about my live stream content today, but I did want to acknowledge that atrocity that's happening in the world. And every time something like this happens, again, I feel incredibly sad, and I'm also sad that I'm not shocked or surprised by it. Anyways, I just had to say something about what's happening in the world. But I also want to get on with our content today as well. But if you want some more resources, I posted something in my Instagram stories that lists a bunch of resources. Definitely check that out if you want to explore. But honestly, just doing your own research will be very helpful for kind of understanding when tragedies like this happen. All right. Today, I'm talking about content. And here's the thing. This is the third part in our Unmute Yourself Challenge series. This is a series that we're doing inside of the Savvy Social School. Monday or Tuesday, I talked about social media as a whole and how businesses can use it as a tool to grow their business. Yesterday, I talked about the value system of having your values and sharing them on social media. And so today, I want to talk about this idea of content and how we don't actually need new content. We need discipline. Okay. I think a lot of people get stuck in this idea of needing new content when that's not the real problem at hand. So we're going to talk about that in a sec. But first, I got to give a shout out to Restream, who sponsors our content, our live streaming content. You can sign up at onlinedrea.com/restream. I'm streaming now live in our Savvy Social School private Facebook group. I'm on YouTube. I'm on the Facebook page. And I keep having issues with LinkedIn. Pretty sure it's user error, but I will be live streaming on LinkedIn as well. And if you want to get more support with live streaming, I did put together a live streaming guide for you. It's free. It's how I prepare for my live stream. So, what do I do before to promote a live stream? What do I do during and after? And especially how I put my notes together, because I do have notes. I'll show you guys. This is my notes for today. I write them on my iPad so that I can kind of keep on track and stay on point. So, today we are talking about content. And every time someone approaches me about content and they go, Andrea, I feel like I'm on a content generation machine. I feel like I'm a little hamster wheel. Does anyone else feel that way? If you could type yes or no into the chat. Do you feel like you're a content generation machine? You always have to put out something. You always have to produce something. Some people also describe this as feeling like they have to be on display or they have to project certain things. I think we all feel that way sometimes. I know I do, especially. Yes, Sabrina says. Yes, yes. We do feel this way sometimes where we feel like we have to produce tons of content, way too much content. And the biggest reason why we feel that way is because we actually need to identify our disciplinary. This sounds so strict. We need to create boundaries for ourselves, basically. Basically, we're shoulding ourselves. Have you guys ever heard of this idea? Shoulding? I heard it last year and I was like, amazing. I love it. If you're shoulding yourself, that means you feel like you should be posting at a certain time. You feel like you should be posting about a certain topic. You feel like you should be posting on a certain day. And you're stuck in this shoulding phase of content where you feel like you're doing all these things out of obligation, right? You're doing all of these things because you have to. And I'm here to tell you today that you don't have to. You don't need any new content. In fact, I think many of us, if we are experts at what we do and we have developed our systems, our frameworks, our messaging, we don't need new content. We say the same things. This very live stream is not new. It is a topic I've talked about often over the past 2 years. This is an example of how you don't need new content, but almost everyone here joining me live or watching the replay hasn't heard this before because I am constantly attracting new audiences and constantly speaking about this using different analogies and different terminologies. Okay. Yes. Patty says she feels like she needs a keeper to keep her on focus, on track, and on schedule. Patty, I've got solutions for you today. And it really is all about creating boundaries. Now, the first thing that I recommend is to understand your relationship with social media. And I talked about this on Monday. I'll put this up on the screen again as well. But I have a free podcast series called The Social Media Unwind. If you're in the Savvy Social School, I actually have the full meditation scripts. It's a mindful meditation practice. And I just challenge you to do the very first one, which is understanding your relationship with social media. A lot of us feel like we should be doing something because someone else told us to do it and not because we know that it's going to make a difference in our business. Okay. A lot of us are on social media because we're like, I don't know, maybe it's going to work, but we actually haven't figured out the role that social media plays in your business. For some of us, social media is a tool for connection. We make partnerships, we make brand connections, we have conversations. Okay. That's the role for social media in our business. For others of us, social media is a lead generation tool. We actually get our direct clients from social media. For others of us, we use social media to communicate with our community. Maybe we have community spaces. Okay, so you have to decide what role social media is going to play in your business, and that will help you understand what disciplines you need to build for yourself as you're figuring out what you should be doing on social media. Okay. So the first discipline I want to talk about, let me pull back up the chat. Okay. The first discipline that I want to talk about is content creation. And this is something that if you're in the Savvy Social School, I just released our full course on this. It's called the Social Media Rockstar Framework. Check out the course because this is pulled directly from the course. You basically need 3 areas of boundaries in order to grow in social media. And the first area is content creation. And when you're thinking about creating content, you're starting with your messaging and then you're giving yourself space to speak that messaging. And your messaging, it's probably the same. You're using maybe different analogies and stories, but your core messaging is the same. And this is how you get off that content creation hamster wheel. So I'll use an example of my own business. When I talk about social media, my perspective on social media is different than other people in the sense that I'm not going to tell you to go on TikTok and post 3 times a day. I mean, that sounds exhausting, even as I'm saying it. A lot of you watching aren't content creators. You're business owners. It's a different strategy. If you're a content creator, then that's your job. Then of course you can post a TikTok 3 times a day. If you're a business owner, you're also HR. You're also managing, balancing the books. You're a bookkeeper. You're also sales. You're also marketing. You're also delivering the product. Who the heck has time to post on TikTok 3 times a day? So that's not something that I'm going to suggest for a lot of business owners based on the size of your business and your other responsibilities. So when you think about your content creation space, I want you to try giving yourself 1 hour. Okay. 1 hour per week. That's it. And that is going to be the container and the space that you use to create your content. And for a lot of business owners, this is manageable. And so it comes down to not just creating new content, but maintaining the discipline of that 1 hour. And y'all, it's truly magical. We do this in the Savvy Social School with our content creation hours. And we have them on Friday, every Friday at 2:00. And the container of showing up consistently for yourself, you're really committing to yourself here. And what you can create within that hour steadily grows. And it's a lot like working out, right? When you think about going to the gym and you think about lifting weights, or you think about toning up, or you think about just being healthier, the first couple times you go, you may not notice a difference. And then the next time you go, you may notice yourself feeling stronger. You may notice a little bit of a pep in your step. You may notice that you're able to do more with your body. That is because of the consistent habit of committing to that sort of activity. The same thing is true for social media. So when you're thinking about your social media content creation structure, You want to commit yourself to doing 1 hour a week of content creation. And that level of discipline will actually get you off of the content creation hamster wheel because you're going to be reiterating your main messages over and over and over again. Okay. So today we're talking about the Unmute Yourself series. And today I am standing up and talking about how business owners don't need more content. They need discipline. So the first area of discipline you need is content creation. The second area of discipline you need is community growth. Okay, community growth. And this is the second biggest thing that people come to me for. When they say, Andrea, I need help, it's usually I need help with creating content or I need help building a community. I need more followers. I need more engagement. I need more likes. If that's you, type yes in the comments. I'd love to see who here would love to grow their communities, followers, engagement, likes. And if you could tell me a little bit about what that means for you, I can cater some of my suggestions today specifically to you. But a lot of business owners want to have more people aware of what they do. Hey, a lot of business owners want more people to know who they are. And oftentimes that comes from having a community of people who can connect with them, connect with each other, and spread the word about their brand. So when we think about the discipline of community space, this discipline of building a community space and growing your community, what I suggest you do, very similar to the content creation hour, is give yourself a time block every single day. You can put this in your Google Calendar. You can put it in a task management tool like Asana. You can write it on your to-do list. Every day you're going to have a task for social media. And I only want you to spend about 10 to 20 minutes on this. Okay. Social media can be a rabbit hole, right? I can't be the only one who like opens up Instagram and then an hour later, I'm like, what is time? Where did this go? I think it happens to all of us where, social media is literally designed to be addictive. Social media is designed to keep you on the app. But as business owners, again, we wear a lot of hats. We have to deliver the service and pay our teams and balance the books and answer emails. And we have a lot going on. And social media is one of those tasks, but it should not take all day. So give yourself 10 to 20 minutes every single day. Make it part of your to-dos. This is a serious part of growing your business. You're here because you know the value of social media and the impact that it can have on your business. So it's time to commit to it. You don't need more content. You need to spend time connecting with your community. And this can look any number of ways. You can just go through some likes and comments. Thanks. You could go through some likes and comments. You can go to a competitor's page, see who's following them, engage with them. You can look at trending hashtags in your industry, see who's participating. However you choose those 10 to 20 minutes, make sure it's focused on two things: connecting with your current community and finding new people. And when you really make a concerted effort to those two things, and again, 10 to 20 minutes a day, a lot of us can commit to that, you will see growth on your social media platforms, okay? A lot of people try to aim for 10 new people within those 10 to 20 minutes. But again, it's a lot like lifting weights. The first time you do it, you may only, find 2 new people. That's fine. And we do go through dry spells as well. Our team and I talks about this all the time, where sometimes those 10 to 20 minutes, we're like, oh my gosh, we're finding all of these amazing conversations and connections. And then 2 weeks later, we're like, where is everybody? And it's, we have a couple days before we're back on track. So it's totally normal. All right. So we're talking about the discipline of not creating new content and focusing on what's in front of you. And the first discipline we covered today was content creation. Spend 1 hour a week creating content for social media, and you're not really creating new things. You're talking about the same things, and maybe you're finding different stories and angles, but you're not creating new things. And then the second discipline is community growth and community management. You want to spend 10 to 20 minutes a day managing your community, connecting with your current followers and community members, and finding new people who don't know you exist. All right. The last discipline I want to talk about today is something that we're working on here in the school, and it's something that I personally love, which is monthly metrics. Monthly metrics. It sounds so boring. Who wants to look at numbers? I sure don't. But when we think about the success of our business, it's important. I like to relate this to, I'll take bookkeeping as an example. You could decide never to log into your bank account. Does that mean the money doesn't exist? No, it's still there. Just because you don't look at it doesn't mean it's not there. And you want to make sure that you are looking at those numbers. We talk about this in our program for social media managers all the time. We have a lot of social media managers who are freelancers, building into agencies, or expanding their business in other ways. And one of the most important things about expanding your business is looking at your numbers regularly, having that money date. I look at mine at least twice a week, sometimes more. Okay. So when I think about monthly metrics for social media, we need to have metrics dates with our metrics. Monthly metrics dates. I'm playing around with the name. I'm trying to make it cute, y'all. I'm trying to make the idea of looking at your numbers cute, which is tough. Um, but here's the thing. It is so important to your growth. The biggest reason why a lot of business owners aren't growing is because they have no idea what works and what doesn't. And so when they come to me and they go, Andrea, I need help. I'm producing this content like you said. I'm doing this networking like you said, but I feel like it's not working. I feel like it's not working. I'm putting air quotes, feel like, around that because it's so important when you think about your business. You can't go off of feelings. You have to go off of facts, okay? Especially when it comes to the numbers. The numbers don't lie. I'll give you an example of this. One of my clients came to us and they were like, hey, we're posting about this webinar. We're posting all the time about it. We really are worried about people not paying attention to it. There's almost no likes and comments. Can you take a look? And when I went to look into the data behind that webinar, they were right. There were no likes and comments. Well, fewer than we typically get. But you know what was happening? People were connecting with them by going to the link in their profile on Instagram and clicking that link in the bio. And that does not show up publicly on an account. You have to go into your analytics to look that up. And by showing them that post, hey, this post out of all of the other posts got almost 10 times more actions over to the profile and clicking that link in the bio, it got way more than anything else around it. So for me, that's the success. So when you're looking at your monthly metrics, you want to make sure you're not just looking at things like follower count or engagement, because that does not tell the whole story. And I talked about earlier in the session how understanding your relationship with social media is so important. If you don't understand the role that social media plays in your business, you're going to keep looking at things like followers and likes and be disappointed with the results because you don't understand what results you're looking for. You don't understand even what is supposed to be happening on your account. I'll give another example of this. We have a client who has quite a large following, dedicated following of people who consistently show up, but they never buy anything. So on the surface, we see hundreds of thousands of people engaging, but behind the scenes, they aren't purchasing. They build a community of people who are tuned into the message, but they get to show up for a free message every single week. So what really is the value to them of purchasing something if they don't understand the difference between I can get this for free or I could pay for it? Yes. Yep. Patty says, interesting that the follow link doesn't translate into being part of engagement numbers. And yes, this is true for a lot of social media platforms. When they talk about engagement, they're typically talking about likes, comments, shares even. But when we talk about things like profile visits or link clicks, this typically goes into the conversions category. And so oftentimes a lot of us as business owners look at the success of a post and go, this post wasn't successful, but I challenge you to look at the intention behind the post first, and then look at the specific metrics to then see if it's successful. Okay. So here's the thing. This is the last day of our Unmute Yourself series. I'm sad to see it go. But if you want to continue this conversation tonight, I want to talk more about managing community spaces. So I talked today about the discipline of content creation. I talked today about the discipline of community growth and managing spaces. And I talked about metrics. But tonight I'm having an amazing panel on Clubhouse talking about managing community spaces, specifically communities who've had amazing and powerful positive responses and negative. So both communities who are loving on their community leaders or canceling them. We're going to talk all about that on Clubhouse tonight. I keep saying tonight. It's not tonight. It's this afternoon, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Um, if you want a link for the notification, sign up here, onlinedrea.com/clubhouse. And you can also get notes from the session. So even if you can't join in live, we will put notes for the session about 48 hours after the session so that you can review it, especially for our Android users out there. I know you can't join us on Clubhouse just yet. So if you want to review the notes from the session, you can sign up at this link and get the notes there. Thank you so much for participating in this Unmute Yourself series with us. We are continuing this concept inside the Savvy Social School. So if you're not a member, consider joining us. I'd love to see you there. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an amazing rest of your day.